So, Sonic Frontiers got that little segment in Nintendo's Direct Mini a couple days ago, alongside the final IGN showcase earlier today, where it was a casual interview answering questions about the game and focusing more on the cyberspace levels, which were also shown off in the Direct Mini. Suffice to say, I've plenty to discuss about the cyberspace levels and the interview, alongside a few other tidbits on Sonic Frontiers between some story details and other new info outside this. But we finally got to see what the cyberspace levels are. There's this Highway City level, and another that's, once again, Green Hill Zone, and given all the shoddy camera footage from weeks ago, people stating a Sky Temple Zone resembling Sky Sanctuary Zone from Sonic 3/Generations, it's probably like 100% confirmed Sky Sanctuary Zone's back in Frontiers. The IGN interviewer also confirmed chemical plant in the game in some way. There are at least 5 cyberspace levels on the first island, and 4 of them were heavily 3D. The one he didn't play was 2D. He played that highway level we saw. He described the levels being around 2 minutes or less to finish. There are 5 missions in each one, giving a different reward each time, and I noticed the red star ring in one of the screenshots that had Green Hill, so just pointing that out, red star rings are there too. Beyond that, the interviewer said he believed Sonic controlled fine. He loses 40 rings when attacked. You can run around the world freely and not strictly follow story quests beforehand. Keeping the ring count maxed gives you this even faster boost with a blue aura. Sonic has this special combat thing where filling up this combat gauge, doing combat without getting hit rewards you with some power up, and Sonic can drop dash in this game, interestingly enough. I'm assuming if the drop dash is in this game, the spin dash might be in there too, probably as a skill in the skill tree I'd imagine. Drop dash in there at all though, that's cool. As far as general information goes, both this and the direct reel for Frontiers I believe were definitely the best showcases for the game. It genuinely was both a reel that condenses everything we saw up until now into a nice sort of mock trailer, almost, alongside giving us a look at the cyberspace levels, another CGI cutscene, Sage, the villain for the game I believe, and the interview did highlight and try to answer most of the big questions the vast majority of Sonic fans had for the game. Cyberspace levels, their length, their design, Sonic's control, how restrictive or free is the open world truly, some upgrades, other combat details, etc. I enjoyed seeing both. I reacted to the direct mini reel, not the IGN interview. Both are neat watches. I'd recommend giving them a peek if you're curious. There's more outside information too. Big the Cat's confirmed for the game. The purple coins in the game are for this fishing mini game. Big let Sonic do, and winning it nets Sonic upgrades or collectibles or upgrades to Sonic stats. It's something kind of big. I forgot what it was. Game Informer described the game as speedy and fast, but not unwielding. Jumping's precise, more complimentary reception to the controls basically, like most of the other outlets and critics who got to play the game. Sonic mentions how Kronos Island, the first island in the game, the one we keep seeing would be a great place for Chow Garden, etc. Plenty of tidbits piling up, but for now, let's discuss cyberspace and the levels within them. There's a lot here that I'm pretty mixed on, a tiny bit less so than I originally was like a day ago. Still, you might want to bear with me on this one until the end, especially with this first major talking point being the whole reusing levels thing, Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, etc. The reusing levels trope thing again. Alrighty, hear me out. On a positive note, Sonic Frontiers has a whole amnesia theme. The characters including Sonic suffering from amnesia. These cyberspace levels are looking to be corrupted, heavily remixed versions of these levels as sort of a way for Sonic trying to remember his adventures through these stages, getting his memory back. I theorized this back a couple weeks ago, a couple days before everyone else started tweeting about it. Sonic going through older stages basically, but in a remix / corrupted state, reflecting his amnesia as he's saving his friends along the way too. I think that's a smart way of bringing these levels back. I appreciate that a lot. That adds a bigger narrative impact than what either Mania and Generations did. Gens was basically for the sake of it being an anniversary title, or in the context of the story, Eggman just stumbling upon this time-eating monster by pure happenstance, and erasing time for the sake of it basically. Having these older stages here again, and remixed, redesigned, corrupted, the whole cyberspace background too mixed in, it gives these stages their own extra tinge of style mixed with Frontiers' overall theme and aesthetic, but it serves its narrative to the overall plot and characters significantly more than Gens, and Mania was effectively the same thing with the Phantom Ruby, so I appreciate them giving these old zones a legitimate reason for being here, and it is softened a lot by the fact that Frontiers' primary appeal aren't these stages, which is the second thing. If this were another Boost Sonic game with just the linear levels, levels, like most modern Sonic games, I feel it'd be a bigger issue, but the open world, the open zone, these giant, vast landscapes to where even just one of these islands might take a dozen or two to fully explore the combat, fighting enemies, collecting stuff, skill trees, doing puzzles, minigames and side quests and stuff. There's a lot more to do with Frontiers, and the main focus of the game aren't even these cyberspace levels, it's the open world / open zone gameplay, and the worlds themselves. And the majority of this seems to be very solid and fun, going off what we've seen and keep hearing. Thirdly, it helps they're taking feedback from Forces and making these stages longer. 2-ish minutes is like half of Generations levels lengths, so I'm glad we're getting normal length stages again. Most seem 3D, most of the stages thus far being 3D are also good. Between that and the rest of the game being this giant open world, I don't think mixing some 2D in some of these is going to matter much compared to other Sonic games since 2008. Not many mark against Unleashed for the 2D in that game, for example. And if they're properly designed, these stages need proper, fun, good level design. If they are, that's going to be the defining characteristic at the end of it, right? Sonic Mania largely built off pre-established zones, but redesigned them enough to where they're so well crafted, the best designed 2D Sonic levels ever, and some even incorporating new mechanics and obstacles and twists that add this unique flair and fresh experience playing them compared to their original counterparts. If Frontiers can manage to make these levels well designed at the very least, not even adding new mechanics or twists to these past levels, then I think they'll sit better for most people. At the very least for me, either case, even if these aren't that well designed, I doubt it'll break the game for me if everything else holds up. And from everything else I'm seeing and hearing thus far, story, writing, mechanics, open world, the length of the game, the length of the levels, controls, combat, etc., everything else I'm basically sold on. I'm probably going to sound harsher than how I actually mean to be when I get to the negative aspects of this in a bit, but do not let that warp what you think or hear as me saying, oh, I think this game's going to inherently suck for banking off nostalgia like Sonic keeps doing, or I take back all this praise I just gave this game or whatever. It's never black and white with anyone's thoughts over a video game. I'm still very much excited for Frontiers. I'm still excited. I still want to play the game. The potential's obviously there. A ton of people coming out of testing the game are saying a ton of good things about it, and more details about the game, keeping me think about it, keeping me speculate, imagine, and get excited over it one way or another. This isn't saying a lot, given we only got 2 games and both of them, to me, aren't good, but I can tell Sonic Frontiers will be the best mainline Sonic game to me within the past decade by a wide margin that isn't Sonic Mania. And giving these levels a reason for being here, tying to the narrative, tying to Sonic's amnesia, making them corrupt, redesigning them too. There's a lot more to Frontiers as a whole than just these levels. They're longer than the levels in Forces. The first island having 5 of them makes me believe there's probably going to be at least like 20 or so for the whole game, at least. There are likely going to be a lot of these levels, and I just hope these levels are well designed, as that'll determine their appeal long term. Everything I just said doesn't take away from the objective fact I am so sick of seeing Green Hill, dude. So many fans are so done with Sega forcing Sonic games to reuse old levels over and over again. And the weird thing is when people make fun of the fact people are just tired of playing old zones again each time we get a new Sonic game. Only Sonic the Hedgehog fans, see what I did there? Only Sonic fans will get so mad at seeing a Green Hill with a checkerboard dirt. You know, maybe it's from the fact they've been doing that for 5 games in a literal row. If we're talking just Green Hill specifically, right? Most Sonic fans, including me, count Lost World to Windy Hill Zone. That is literally just a Green Hill skin with level design trying to emulate Mario Galaxy. It doesn't help Force's level design was just flat out bad either, but even when Frontiers gives these levels a purpose, that does not stop the monotony of seeing and playing through Green Hill and Chemical Plant again. I mean, yeah, if you're of that crowd that hates Frontiers' realistic style, having these older stages again does break away from that, caters to that crowd and all, but even when Cyberspace isn't the main focus of the game, it's still a core aspect about the game overall. For the sake of the anniversary, for nostalgia, for classic appeal, whatever. We just got Sonic Origins. We just got a classic collection re-release of all the main classic 2D Sonic games for people to play these levels. Forces did the same thing 5 years ago. Mania did the same thing 5 years ago. Lost World even did the same thing 9 years ago, and Generations did 11 years ago. This doesn't auto-mark Generations or Mania as bad or heavily flawed for retroactively reusing stages when that's their whole appeal, and when both games' stages are well designed. Generations was where it started and wasn't overused to where it is now. But that's its entire appeal. It was a major anniversary game at the time, well designed, and is still good. Mania is the same, but on a higher scale in celebration, design, and praise. And once again, them being well designed is the core of what'll define the level's actual quality, at least for me. I still really love Gens and Mania for plenty of reason, despite reusing old levels, as do millions of other Sonic fans. We'll talk about the Highway level in a bit, because I didn't talk about that yet, but you literally can't blame any Sonic fan tired of them reusing old levels when they've been doing it 5 games in a row. At least 4 games if you don't count Lost World, and when 3 out of 5 of them had that level reuse trope make up the majority of those games' appeals and designs. You straight up cannot blame those fans for getting tired of it. Like, I don't understand how anyone could say fans have this weird attachment problem to these classic stages when Sega is literally the first party in that exact camp causing it. Dude, we would love to let these stages go. Sega and Sonic Team don't want to for whatever reason, and it's weirder. I'm a Mario fan, right? But some will claim or make fun of how, oh,
Mario fans, they never complain about Nintendo reusing old levels or the Mushroom Kingdom.
Whatever timeline you live in to where that exists, take me there and show me, bro. Cause in this timeline, in this reality, that's flat out wrong. That is just wrong. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. All the time. Whether as a minor annoyance or relatively sizable concern, yes, we do. Hello? Hello? Knock on wood, hello? The 2010s were a literal cesspool of that. I was in that cesspool, dude. New Super Mario Brothers, the whole series, constantly got berated for reusing the exact same level tropes, generic themes, generic designs, music even, etc. Just like Green Hill, Chemical Plant, Sky Sanctuary, etc. Super Mario 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World, side games like Paper Mario Sticker Star, Mario Party, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle even, etc. Several Mario games had plenty of Mario fans groan and dislike whenever they reuse generic tropes, levels, and ideas for the umpteenth time. Forget the Mushroom Kingdom itself is a country with dozens of different landscapes, changing geometry, plenty of Mario games anyways, whereas Green Hill is just one location. And as far as like straight level reusage or remakes, like Mushroom Kingdom in Odyssey, for example, or Throwback Galaxy and Galaxy 2, where it was Whomp's Fortress remade, etc. Not only are most Mario games that do that are made up by entirely new levels, themes, and ideas the vast majority of the time, those examples are also used sparingly and not literally every single individual new release since then. Forget for the majority of those new releases too. Literally every single mainline Sonic game since Generations is following that exact same crowd appeal tactic and structure, only differing in execution. Frontiers, again, thankfully, has the islands themselves make up most of the game, all this other stuff I went over before. That doesn't invalidate my annoyance for the linear levels being more of the same levels we've been playing for over a decade plus, and my want of just wanting to play new levels. Why does every new Sonic game have to come with reusing levels each and every time when there's literally no reason to at this point anymore? At the very least, why is it suddenly bad for Sonic fans to just want to play new levels, period? Like, you guys could see where them reusing levels gets incredibly stale, monotonous, and predictable, right? This company's become so freaking predictable with Sonic games. Even when they were great, some don't excuse Mania entirely for it because of how well designed it is too. And when you add the new levels they had in that game in that equation too. And I stress this whole level reuse thing, because for all I know, that Highway City level could be another one too. I don't know if they confirmed some Cyberspace levels will have new levels outright. I don't know if that Highway level is entirely brand new, or some sicko mode, corrupt, Omega remix take on Speed Highway, Skyscraper Scamper, or whatever. It looks cool, it looks promising design-wise too. I want to say it's new. I really want to say it is new, because nothing about it reminds me of any past city states specifically. The closest for me personally is Skyscraper Scamper, and it was a cool sight when they revealed that stage, but I don't know how new or not that level might be on top of how good it'll actually be. If Frontiers is another Mania case of being both old and new levels, that to me is best case scenario. If they're well designed and introduce new mechanics or twists like Mania did, even better. But having a mix of both would break up that monotony and predictability Sonic fans come to expect from the series at this point. And before I wrap up, even with everything I just said, Frontiers could still end up being an amazing game. I hope it's a great Sonic game. I'm believing more and more it could be up there as a good Sonic game after everything I've said about the game and have learned about this past month. I could still have fun with the Cyberspace levels on their own, and if not, the rest of the game could still be good and fun too, for sure. None of this is a simple black and white narrative for the sake of drama or arguments, whatever. It should not be a hard concept to grasp that Sonic fans want to play in new levels when they get a new game, especially when they've done the whole anniversary, celebration, nostalgia, for the sake of series history, tactic, every single game since 2011. That appeal and hook wears thin so freaking quick after the first time. It's literally one of the things people hate Forces for. One of the few minor gripes some have with Mania even. And is easily going to be one of the issues people will have with Frontier, since this is the 5th time in a literal row they're doing it. Many Sonic games prior have both added new levels or created unique twists and mechanics onto older levels and tried tropes before and made them fun and exciting. Video games do that all the time. The desire for that should not be something worth making fun of when that's usually the standard for most other normal new games. I hope the levels are well designed and fun. I hope there are at least some new levels. There's a decent chance at least we'll get that. But we really need to let go of reusing old levels, from reusing Green Hill, Chemical Plant, etc. every single time we get a Sonic game. Sega and Sonic Team. Fans literally expressed this 5 years ago. People want new levels and new locations all around in new Sonic games. I'm glad the islands provide that, and most of Frontiers itself does. Again, I've said all this before I got into the negative stuff. I don't want to repeat myself in the comments, but most want the linear levels to do the same. And that's not a bad thing to want or express that for either, whether or not the level design and execution is great. That's all I could think of regarding the Cyberspace levels. I could talk about the story in another video. I'm a little unsure. Let me know if you think I can make a video on that. I could probably talk about like Sage, the whole amnesia thing more, other characters and like their purpose too, how the story might unfold. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video on that. But that's my thoughts on the Cyberspace levels. I hope they're fun. They sound like they'll be better than the levels in Forces, considerably at least. Not even just a little bit, but considerably. Really hope they're well designed too. But I really hope some levels introduce new themes and designs altogether, and I wish we get a new Sonic game to where it's all new stuff. We have not gotten that since the late 2000s, you know? Whether you agree with my commentary or ignored it and was perceived as mindless rambling whining or whatever, it's not. Talk about how you feel in the comments, let me know what you think. Thank you for your time, thank you for listening and watching, and stay tuned for more Sonic Frontiers and Sonic content in the pipeline. Stay super.
Ha!